Obviously, we're disappointed with the results today, and didn't feel that our aggressiveness, and I think our aggressiveness is not the level that it's been when we've had success this year. And the best indication of that is rebounding. Providence was plus 13 on the glass, and they beat us to the punch, not only on the boards, but for some 50-50 balls, and really established, the tone, early. We got out to the 7-0 lead. They went on a run, and we tried to, get it under 10. But for the most part, after that 7-0 lead we had, the run that they went on, we were never really in contention. A couple possessions there where maybe we would have had a chance if we came up with a rebound to get it back under 10 if we had been able to convert. So as a group, we are disappointed with the results today, and now we got to get ready for our next game.
Zach in the middle.
Rashid has started every game since January 31st. Why not today?
Sure. Well, we's older group, and Jamal's been playing so well, coming off probably the best game of his career against Georgetown. And then also, we look at the practice that week. There's so many elements to go into, as our players know, what determines a starter. And and there's just a myriad of elements that go into determining from game to game who's going to start. And so practice is part of it, and then also where a player is in terms of experience, and just because Jamal's he was someone that played well today for us. So
Over here, Zach.
Steve, you guys had looked so good, leading up to the last weekend and these last two games. How concerned are you about the way the team's played?
I just shared with the team that one of the advantages, and it's important they know this because they sometimes don't have the context that a coach has that's been in the business for a long period of time. Last week, we were just down two key players. Branch, who was playing the best basketball of his career, and next game, against Georgetown, didn't play, and then obviously Chris Obekba, who's a central part of everything we do. So, and Villanova's really good. Let's face it, they got 30 wins, and they're not losing to anybody. So, I thought last week it was, more just a matter of two of our key players, two of our six-man rotation were out, and we're playing a great team on the road. Today, we're just disappointed as a group with our performance because we didn't feel that we brought the aggressiveness. I thought we were tentative, hesitant. There was a lid on the rim, but sometimes that comes from the nerves of the postseason. And there are going to be days where your offense is not clicking. You can't buy a bucket. We call it being in the desert or in the midst of a drought. But the disappointing part collectively was our aggression level on defense, and our rebounding is where I thought Providence really beat us to the punch. The points in the paint, the second shots, the 50-50 balls. So. So we're disappointed with it, but at the same time, I explained to them I probably had 4 or 5 teams that lost their last game or either in the conference tournament or lost their last regular season game when we didn't have conference tournaments in the Pac-10, and then went on a run in the NCAA. So you also can't get carried away. You've got to get ready and address the deficiencies and turn the focus and energies to improving as a team, and then that enhances the chances of doing something special in the postseason. So not concerned to the point where I don't think this team is still capable of doing something special.
And
Steve, just to follow on that,
Yeah.
I assume you're confident you're in the tournament, and looks like you'll have a week off since you guys are banged up. Is that almost good to get some rest for these guys?
Well, I think we'd rather win the Big East Conference tournament and be cutting down the nets on Saturday night here in New York. But given that we got knocked out and Providence played a hell of a game and deserves to advance, now we need to take this time and take advantage of it in preparation for the postseason.
on the right, Craig.
For Phil, was there a lot of self-imposed pressure, do you think, on the seniors that you guys felt because you wanted this game? Because it really seemed like you weren't yourselves tonight.
It didn't seem like it. We just, like Coach said, it wasn't aggressive. We was tentative, if anything. We let our offense bleed into our defense. We can't win games like that. So when we get stops and rebounds, it'd be total different games. But we was just not aggressive.
Roger.
For each player, usually when you guys have gone through droughts or fallen behind, there's been some grit. You guys have gone back in the game, sometimes come back and won it. Where was that today?
I mean, we tried a couple stretches, but we couldn't buy a basket. We were shooting 26% in the first half, and they were shooting 46%. We didn't have no points in transition, and that's pretty much our game. We like to play in transition and get the easy buckets, but we didn't have no transition points in the first half, and they capitalized on turnovers and all the missed shots. So,
Steve, I know Rasheed returned, but what he relayed to you about his wrist, is it something that you think is going to linger going forward?
We'll get more information, this evening, and I think precautionary, they either are currently examining it or they're going to examine it, in terms of the team doctors. But he was able to play, in the second half, and not that that's always, an accurate indication, but, hopefully that's a sign that it wasn't so debilitating that it's going to knock him out of, being able to play moving forward.
Mark on the left.
Phil, when you guys are going through a stretch like you did the first half, where you scored 18 straight, you're over 15, what's going through your mind?
Just get a stop, shut out the game. Like I said, our defense fuels our offense. So when we get stops and rebound the ball, it changed the whole complexion of the game. But since we couldn't get a stop, they just kept it going. So they capitalized on it, and they played a good game.
Zach.
Steve, receivers have done a lot of good. They're going to finish their career without a Big East tournament victory.
Sure.
Why has these guys not been able to put it together in this tournament?
Yeah, I don't think it's them. I think I'm just a poor Big East. Actually, I'm a poor conference tournament coach because I don't think I had one at UCLA either. I think I'm winless in conference tournaments. I know we lost to Cal. I was just talking to Rico about it because Rico's participated in some form or fashion in every NCAA tournament appearance that we've had, either as a player or an assistant coach, except for one. I think he missed in 96, 97, but what I shared with them is, we lost at Washington on a final. I think Washington was like a last place team, and some guy banked in a three-pointer from 30. It was Fred Brown's son, I think. Maybe we fouled him. It might have been a 4-point play close to the buzzer. And we lost to, Bob Bender was the coach, but we lost in that game. But then we went on a run to the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, and I know we lost to Cal in a game where we laid a complete egg, similar to this game. Staples, we lost to a Cal Bear team, just played terrific. And I think the next week we were beating the #1 team in the country in Cincinnati, or a 1 seed in Pittsburgh, and going to the Sweet 16 to play on the weekend to go to the Final Four. So it's probably the pattern or the trend of the racing form is I don't know if I've ever won a conference tournament game as a coach in the Pac-10 or in the Big East. So I don't think it has anything to do with our players.
In the middle.
For Phil and Jamal, you guys came out tentative, you came out hesitant. But you guys have been on such a run in the last few weeks where you were very aggressive. You guys were driving the hoop and doing everything you guys could do. What's the difference from these last few weeks where you guys were super aggressive to today?
I mean, it'll help if we would have made some shots at the beginning and but at the end. But I think we need to get, like Phil said, we need to get rebounds and stops. They got easy points off transition. They did a good job executing their plays and running their offense and knocking down shots, something we didn't do. So.
In the middle, Mike.
Twitter says you beat Arizona in 2003.
Oh, that's right. Actually, we did get one.
Put that down for
That's
Twitter.
right. We beat Rutgers. So there's a couple wins, but overall,
Make sure we reference Twitter on that.
Yeah, we struggled.
Mark in the middle.
For Phil and Jamal, to follow up on the earlier question, I know your senior group really wanted to to get a Big East tournament win, not go out of your career without one. Now that you're unable to do that, how disappointing is this when you're not having any chance?
It's very disappointing. Like you said, we wanted to get one, but we're going to focus now on getting better. We got to move on. We got to flush it. The game's over now, so we just going to get back to the drawing board.
Two more, Mark.
Jamal, how much easier is this, not that you want to lose, but how much easier is this knowing that you're not really on the bubble anymore? You need to
Say that one more time?
How much easier is it to maybe stomach this loss knowing that you didn't need to win to get into the tournament?
We'll see Sunday what happens, but with the good thing that happened today, then if we make the tournament, it didn't happen in the tournament. So.
Last question, Ryan.
I'm going to cheat by getting two by asking Phil and Steve the same question. Phil first. The games aren't going to get any easier. And people know that you guys are a great transition team. Can you guys score enough to win if you can't get the fast break game going?
Of course I think so, because we have a lot of good players. It starts with our defense. The defense, it just helps out everything. That's why we're gonna get back to the drawing board, go back to practice. Work some things out so next time we can play better.
What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the scores, when we beat a Xavier and a Grinder, I forget, it was 58-57 or 57-56, I think we held them to the fewest points they had all season long. Or even up at Syracuse, I think that was a game played in the 50s, kind of a grinder, methodical, very similar to the conditions you face when you're in the NCAA tournament. And so we demonstrated the ability to score in the 80s and win games, but also score in the 50s. And I agree with Phil. It's, if you're not getting stops defensively, you're taking the ball out of the net, then clearly you are playing uphill. Seton Hall's another one?
Yes,
Okay, Seton Hall's another game, that's played at that more methodical, grinding kind of pace. So, but as we talked about the team, when you take the ball out of the net after free throws or baskets, it does limit our ability to go on runs. And what's interesting is the theories that we're an excellent transition team, but we actually are, I think, 8th or 9th in the league. If you look at the metrics of the analytics in transition, we're one of the worst teams in the country, just in terms of the metrics. On the half court, we rate very well because we shoot the three-pointer well, we distribute the ball, we have so many interchangeable parts with the 4 guards out there. But in transition, even though we still are going to push the ball, the numbers, the percentages have us near the bottom of the league. So it's an interesting thing. I know that seems that counterintuitive to when you watch us, because we do some really special, spectacular things in transition. But we've been our best. We've had 22 assists, or 18, 19 assists, and we're distributing the ball, and we're really making those extra passes and executing with precision on the half court. But because I think Dom has been spectacular with some dunks, and there are times in transition we've excelled, the thinking is that we're a really good transition team, but the numbers don't bear that out. We've talked to our team about that we do not convert well in transition. It's one of the poorest teams I've had in terms of converting when playing at high speeds in transition. But we make some electrifying plays that make SportsCenter, and then people think, wow, they're a great transition team. But we really struggle in transition to convert, and we often throw the ball away because we're in a hurry and playing too fast. When we get on the half court, we get ball reversal and play through the paint and start sharing that thing and making that extra pass is when we shoot so well from the three-point line, 12-24 at Marquette. The game of Syracuse, we shot the ball extremely well from the three. And all of our big wins, it's really more half-court execution, shooting the three, balanced with an occasional transition and getting to the foul line. And we want to keep running. We think we have potential to be good in transition, but to this point in the year, we just haven't, for some reason, excelled in the fast break. We tend to throw it away, and the numbers, the metrics, and analytics have us near the bottom of the league.